What's going on, everyone? Dwayne here from NorCal Nerf Club, and really happy that I get to do this quick review, unboxing, and actually unshelling also of the brand new rival Saturn XX1000. This is a good looking rifle. I know a lot of you are excited about this. I was supposed to get this on Tuesday. This is now Friday evening. I just got it in about an hour ago, and I'm really anxious to do this video. In fact, on Tuesday, I was going to set up and do a little bit of different video for this. I was actually going to test out using another camera plus my phone, and I've got a new lavalier mic that I want to use to start making videos. And I wanted to do that, give you a little bit different view other than just this first-person view that I always do. Unfortunately, yeah, it really took, you would not believe the story of getting this thing in. So it took me all week to get this in. Like I said, it's Friday evening now. I just got it. And there it is, finally. Okay, now you can see on the box that it claims it's over or almost 3 feet long, which is really true. You can see that they have the stock is off of it right now. But included with this, you do get the blaster, you get this new targeting, 10 rifle rounds. But let's go ahead and unfree this out of here, get rid of all these. And I am not going to put that stock on yet. Okay, we're going to test this out on the chronograph and everything. Since this evening I really can't go out and do too much range testing or anything today. But yeah, we're going to check out the blaster and everything. And then, like I said, stick around, because we're not only going from unboxing to unshelling. We're going to take this apart. We're going to see what kind of spring that it can take in it and what kind of an upgrade that we get with a different spring in it. So this is going to be an interesting video. Do stick around for that. Good looking blaster right off. I really do like this. You can kind of see what it's going to be like with the stock on there. The reason I'm not putting the stock on yet is because we are going to open this up, and I can unscrew it again, but then I just have a lot of screws to do. So I'm going to wait to the end when we get the new spring in and everything, and then we'll put that on there, because that's permanently on there. Once you put it on, it's locked on, unless, of course, you unscrew it also. We'll leave that to the side. But yeah, this is, of course, the Team Edge colors, which I always really like. A color that I've always had a hard time describing. A lot of people like to say lime green, but I like more of a fluorescent greenish to yellow. Sometimes the camera doesn't even pick up quite the color of this. Quite bright, quite nice though. I kind of like it. Not that I prefer it or anything, but I kind of like it. This grip is nice and big, and that's really cool. That's gonna be helpful. It's nice and big. Yeah, I can get a hold of that. Now we're gonna see also how that's gonna be when we get the spring in there, get a heavier spring load going in there. We're going to see how that grip's going to hold up for us and everything. I know it'll hold up, but how comfortable is it going to be to prime, and how much do we need, like maybe an aftermarket grip on there? So there it is. There's the whole blaster. There's the loading up front. Got a bit of sights down it. That's kind of nice. Okay, yeah, looking good over here. Just got the safety on the one side. We're not going to take forever to talk about the safety, but there you go. Safety's over here on the right side of the blaster. But I'll tell you what, let's not mess around here. I know what you guys always want to know, and what I always want to know, really first thing about a blaster is, well, what's it do? How's it fire? You know, what's the feet per second on that? Okay, there's another piece that goes to the targeting set. We'll get these out and prime that up. Yeah, just prime it back. Oh, that prime's nice. Kind of shorter prime. I would say definitely more comfortable than the Jupiter is with the bolt, which is another one. That's another one. That's a strange one when you get a really big load into it. The heavier spring load on that bolt action is not as nice. It's nice to have a pump action type of thing. Why I like the takedown so much, and why the takedown has gotten very popular. That's a great blaster. This is kind of a little larger version of this in the Team Edge colors. So that's kind of nice. Very interesting. I was wondering where the Team Edge series was going to head to, and it's nice that they went to something like this. Very interesting. But let's go ahead and get the chronograph out. Everybody wants to know the numbers. Let's see what this thing can do. I definitely want to know too. And we'll get a nice lined up shot there. 97 for a shot out of the box. Ooh, that prime's nice. That is comfortable. Now, like I said, we'll see when we get a little heavier spring load in there, but that's real nice. 101. Second shot. 100 even. 97.4. So we're staying up there, you know, that we're staying right there in those rival ranges. So that's real good. 95.7, 100.3. We got a healthy one over here. 100.6, 99.7, 99 flat. And last one, a 98. Yeah, so not too bad as far, you know, right there in those rival ranges, just exactly what they claim, you know, anywhere 90 to 100 feet per second, and then they're hanging in right there. So our max was at 101, that's real good. Minimum was 95.7, that's awesome. And the average, 98.8. That's pretty good out of the box. And with a really comfortable prime, I was kind of enjoying that. That's a bigger prime. Got a good place for you to get a hold of it, you know. And I've got bigger hands. I'm taller. I'm 6'1", so that's the good size for me. But there you go. There's your averages straight out of the box. I think that's looking pretty good. And once again, what's going to be interesting is, okay, we're starting here. We have that average of 98.8. How much more can I step that up, you know, and still keep it in reasonable ranges? I kind of like to have rival to be right around anywhere from 125 to 135. I don't mind 140s, you know, so much, but you start playing into the accuracy more when it gets to that point. So yeah, I kind of like to keep it a certain range. 125 to 135 seems to be like a real good sweet spot for rival blasters. So we're definitely gonna see if we can get to that. I did notice they changed the trigger over here. Now this is a good, solid, sturdy trigger, which is real nice, but I did like the look of the lightning bolt one, and in the Jupiter and in the Mercury pistol, so I like that. But yeah, and I like some of the detailing in this blaster. It's really nice. This is comfortable so far, and heck, I haven't even got the stock on there yet. So that's going to be real good. But I'll tell you what, let's not waste any more time on this. I feel like getting the screwdriver out. There's a little handful of screws in here. I have already seen a picture of the internals on this blaster, and I think it's going to be really, really easy to get another spring in there. We'll do a couple other things while we're inside there, but stick around. So there you have it. There are the internals of the brand new rival Saturn blaster. It looks to be pretty simple here. I was kind of giving it a good look over here and how much we have to take this apart just to get to the spring down here, and it doesn't look like a lot. Now I'm going to go ahead and be careful when you pull these out, they tend to want to go flying on you. So I'm going to loosen that up just a little bit. Okay, same time, I think I can just lift that. Okay, now we're still in there. There we go. And that should just lift right up and out of there. There it goes. Okay, now getting that back in there might be a little bit interesting, lining everything right back up on it. But yeah, that was pretty simple. Should be able to get it back together. Yeah, I've seen worse, you know. So we're going to go ahead and take this spring out of here, which is a pretty decent spring. Well, the rival springs are pretty cool. They're pretty good. And you can see on this one, had decent numbers, a 98 average right out of the box. That's pretty decent. But let's go ahead and take out, there we go. There's our plunger head. And I can see, yes, I am already going to probably double that up in padding. I got some new pads over here we'll be putting in. I might go ahead and tape up that plunger over here, the plunger head over here. We'll go ahead and tape that up, tape that ring up, get a little bit better seal in it. Okay, there it is. Now I have gone ahead and padded the plunger head with these neat little adhesive foam gripper pads that I get from Dollar General. Everybody always asks where they come from, and that's exactly where they come from. There's a bunch of them, different ones that you can use that are available at hardware stores. I'll leave the link to these down there below in the description box, as well as a couple other things, including the spring. Because looking at this, K26 isn't going to work for you too good. You would have to shave off these little fins right here, and those are support fins, so I don't always believe in shaving those down just to be able to put a spring on there. Now, my always really good choice, a lot of time general pick is going to be K25. Now, K25 fits on here, but very tight to where I can see when it's pressing down here, it may be putting some stress out here on these little tabs out here. I don't know. Once it gets a couple coils in there, wow, looks like they're really, really pinching it in there. But The next choice that I have, and the choicest spring, by the way, I have a 14 kilogram spring that normally would go into a Kronos pistol. Out of Darts sells these. I believe it's the Worker Phantom Kronos 14 kilogram spring. And like I said, I'll leave the link for it down in the description box. But this one fits on there real nicely. This is what I want to see, where it just kind of like nicely snaps in place. Whoops, I'm getting lube all over my fingers. I have already lubed up the plunger head as well. Again, that ring there. Oh, and I put 2 wraps of Teflon tape underneath there. So we should be able to get a pretty good seal out of that. This is the stock spring right here, and this is of course the 14 kilogram one on there, and they are exactly the same length. So we're real good there. I do have a Kronos that has one of these springs in here, although I cut it down just a bit to get it under 130 feet per second for Ragnar Oktoberfest, and that was my sidearm for Ragnar Oktoberfest this past year. Did me very well. Had to pull it out and use it a couple of times, and it worked out really good. And it's really, I gotta say, it's like my most accurate Kronos. It averages exactly 127 feet per second, and it is accurate. I like that one. It's really sweet blaster. But anyway, so there we go. We've got this spring on there. We need to get it back in there, and as well as we're gonna have to get the plunger head and everything in there. And this goes in here where the catch goes up like that, okay? And I'm gonna have to get it in here, and then all those pieces back in place the way that they were, which is going to be really interesting. I'm thinking I may have to compress this first, and then that is going to make it really funny to get in there to this. Yes, I'm going to go ahead and compress this one first and get it caught, but that is going to make it, I'm telling you, that's going to make it a little scarier. There, now it's caught. Whoo-wee. Okay. I'm gonna need that to get in place, and I don't want it to fire. So that's gonna be real interesting here to get that down in its place. Just to slide down into its place. You're looking good there. Okay, gonna come back here. I do not want this to fire. And come back in here and get in its little seat back here. And then I'll worry about putting that catch spring back on here. I am being oh so careful about this, though. Want that, okay, fit back like that into there. Beautiful. Then I can put the catch spring back on it. This one seems to be a little bit bent. It's a good catch spring. I have some better ones. Almost feel like putting on there, but we'll go ahead and stick with the stock one for now. Same thing, I decided not to take out the air restrictor on this one, just to see how it does and everything with this spring in there. And I don't know. If I don't like the performance that it's getting, if I don't like how it's loading some rounds, I'll go in there and take it out. That, of course, is going to be requiring a little bit more disassembly here. Just a little bit more. Going to have to take out that whole, probably this whole barrel area, actually, and to get to those 2 screws there, yeah, you'd have to completely pull this out and flip it over. So I decided we're just going to go with the spring upgrade together, kind of keeping it a little bit more simple. And that was pretty easy. As you can see, the spring is in there. Now, what I do need to do is get all these to make sure that they're lined up where they should be, and that is there. Priming indicator has slid up now into place. There, see, saying that it is primed because this is primed. And it's all in there, and I'm looking it over, and it looks pretty good. Let's get our trigger spring back there. Always look for little things like that. Trigger spring going back in place. Other than that, I'm thinking this looks pretty good, and it's time for me to get back to putting all those oh so many screws back into this blaster and seeing what kinds of results that we've got. Well, there we have it. Have the Saturn all buttoned back together. It was fairly easy, except for I was having a little problem. And I'll give you a little trick on this thing. Any of you guys that have ever put a long shot kit into a long shot, you'll kind of know what I'm talking about. When I was putting the shell back on here, I had to go in there, sneak in with just a regular head screwdriver and get in there and move the plunger, the end of the plunger assembly, the catch and all that thing. I need to move that forward just a little bit to kind of ease it into this side of the shell here. Other than that, it was okay to put back together, make sure everything's lined up, and I think it is. Anyways, I think everything is good to go. I did have to get it in though. I did have to release the catch on it, so it is no longer primed. I had to basically dry fire it in there, which is kind of hard to do. I had to hold everything in place, but no pieces went flying or anything. But let's see. Yep, there we go. A little bit more of a spring load. That's nice, but it catches. That's real good because we can put that stock back on there here in a second. There we go. All loaded up. Got 10 rounds in it. Let's see what an improvement that we made by putting that 14 kilogram spring in there. Boy, I want to get that stock on here. I don't feel it's just not finished yet. Woo, buddy. 126.9. Yeah, now what was I saying about the numbers earlier? I kind of like that range. Like I said, between 125 and 135 ends up being a pretty sweet blaster. So we got a 126.9. That still primes pretty nice. May need to get in and tighten up a couple of these screws. Yeah, sometimes, you know, you put blaster all back together. Some of the first screws you first put in, you want to go back and kind of retighten them. Sometimes they'll have a little bit of looseness to them. Let's see if I can get this up here and we'll get a 143 flat. Here we go. 133.4. Fourth shot. 126.9 again. My hands are a little slippery working on this. This is a hot day in Northern California. And 131.2. 128.5, 134.8. Actually knocked my net off of my dart catcher. 130.5, and then ninth shot, 130.5 again, and the 10th and final shot, 127.5. You can hear that thing smacking the tarp over there since it knocked my net off the dart catcher there. But those are real good numbers. You can kind of tell I'm pretty tickled about this. I like these numbers right there in that range. We're even getting up to like 140, didn't we? We had a max of 143 flat, minimum of 126.9, very nice, and an average of 131.3. Sweet! That's what I like out of Rival. I like those numbers a lot. That's right around the range I want. I think that's just wonderful. Now, celebration. Let's put this on here. We're going to go ahead and put the stock on. As if you didn't know, like I was talking about before, that locks on. You can take the locks out of there, but then it just kind of slides on and off if you want to. Or you can just put it on, and then that's just going to leave you over here with this like 8 screws to undo. And I decided to just not do that. So we'll slide that all in place. Doesn't that look pretty? That looks fantastic. There it is. The Saturn is complete. It's got its stock on it. That is pretty sweet. That sits on there pretty solid. And boy, that's a nice one against your shoulder and everything. That's cool. Grip up here. I just realized I was going to put on one of my universal pistol grips on here, the rubberized one. I was going to put one of those on there before I slapped that in place. I completely forgot, got excited about it. But oh well, as you can see, we got it up to a nice 131.3 average. That's real good. Not a really hard upgrade either, you know. A little bit more unusual of a spring. Neither K25 or K26 I decided was going to work for this, but the perfect spring that I found for it is called a 14 kilogram Phantom Kronos spring. Comes from Worker, and I got it from out of Darts. I will leave that in the description box below for sure, where you can pick that up, and a couple other things that had to do with this blaster. But there it is. That thing is big. This is a long rifle. I really dig that. It's got a nice grip on there. We'll see. Now, I know France Foam works. has got one already that they've put together to put on this, a little upgrade on it that looks really, really nice on it. And we may switch to that now. I'll do a review of that when we get it. But there we are all together. Big, huge blaster, thick, looking real nice, operating really fine. I sure did enjoy making this video for you guys. I hope you got a second or so to go down there and give me a thumbs up on it. And until my next video, you guys take care.